Ready for the dumbest thing in the entire world? Such a silly subject. I'm going to talk about it just because everyone else is talking about it, though. I'm trying to lean this on a salute bottle. But basically, I missed the past 2 days because I'm still having a little bit of a flare, but I'm fine. But anyways, we're going to talk about the stupidest subject that I think I could possibly cover, but it's somehow relevant, so let's do it. The reason I do want to talk about it is because it sort of bleeds into this like other thing that I've just been watching YouTubers specifically complain about forever, and people talk about it just in general, and I think it's just not true and dumb. But anyways, long story short, Ricky goes to long ledge, doesn't crooked grind for 200 and some feet, but also crooked grinds pretty far. Jenkum has contests for $1,000 for said crooked grind. Ricky says, hey, look. They say, not crook. He says, look at this one. And then they're like, oh, that is crook. And then they said, we'll post it. And then they're like, oh, wait, no, we won't. And then they delete it where they told them that they were going to post it, which is so funny. It's so funny. So let's break it down. Simply put, the people arguing that it is a crooked grind, it's just definitely not. A crooked grind needs to be pinched, and I can understand. Like Ricky made like a rage post that I saw. It was definitely rage bait, where he's like, "Oh, like the square rails that I used to skate were fat, and that's how we crooked grinded them." But it's like, no, you just still crooked grind them just like a ledge when they're fat like that. And he might have believed that back then. I find it borderline impossible that he made it this far into skateboarding without actually knowing the difference between a crooked grind and a backside nose grind. It's just not possible. So I think it was just like rage bait, and he gets engagement off of that, and people view it, and people are talking. It worked out. It did good for him. But the other side of it is like, oh, well, he also did this like super long nose grind. Shouldn't like he get something for that? And here's where it gets like a little bit more murky because I've just been seeing people like, oh, it's like incredible idea this backside nose grind. As someone who skated that spot, you wouldn't look at that as like a however many feet long backside nose grind he did. It's sort of like the spot makes the trick a lot easier. Not saying that it would be easy to go backside nose grind as far as he did. You can see by like the way his arms are waving around that like he has to still balance it. It's just, 99% easier than just doing like a backside nose grind on an actual ledge that long, even if it's downhill. Just the way that you lock in, especially if you go there with like the right setup, like you can adjust your wheel size. If it's bigger wheels, it's going to be easier. And if your truck's like pretty much the same width as ledge, you're just going to kind of sit there. Once again, not saying it was the easiest thing in the world, but it's not like it doesn't check the box of like however many feet long backside nose grind in my mind. It's sort of like if Jenkum was like, okay, first person to grind like a quintuplet kink handrail gets $1,000, and someone finds a spot where it's like a ride-on grind up mellow rail that's like square and this far from the wall, and you can put your hands on the wall, and it's super mellow kinks, and it's like a two flat, and basically if you put a baby on it and shoved it up the thing, it would go down the rail and land it. That's clearly an exaggeration, but the point is, it's just not what the trick is supposed to be. There's so much nuance in skateboarding. Like it's sort of like, where does a Susky begin and a back 5-0 end and stuff like that. But I think if you've been skating for a long enough time, that makes a lot of sense to you. You can look at that and be like, yeah, like that. I'm glad that he did that, but that's not what the trick is. The first time I went to the spot, I think I say in the video, the tricks that I thought were possible are backside board slide, back 50-50, front 50-50, front 5-0, and I said frontside nose grind where you drag it, and dark slide. Front board might be possible. It's one of those things where I see so many comments where like, oh, I'll just go there and I'll be able to crook that far. You won't. Like there's a reason that like pro skaters are only going as far as they are, and there's a reason that you haven't seen a frontside board slide on it. In film, since like the ground's so like boring and the background's so repetitive, you really can't tell how fast you're going. Like when you board slide that thing, you go dumb fast. I ended up getting distracted by the nose slide for the rest of the times that I was there. But yeah, it's not as easy as you think, even though it makes tricks easier. And I do think that Ricky is aware of all this. Like I said, I do think he's like kind of like rage baiting it. But the people being really upset about like Jenkum like unsending that message, aside from the fact that it's like hilarious, I mean, it does make a lot of sense, right? Like I think people are like almost viewing it as like they're bullying him, but it's like they are complete opposites, right? Like Ricky makes content using skateboarding to get the most amount of views. That's what he does. That's what Braille did. That's what Revive did. That's what John Hill did. That's what Garrett did. That's what all of the YouTubers, whoever were doing super, super well on the platform, were doing. They were using skateboarding to reach as many people as possible. What, in my opinion, ended up happening was the general public saw enough kickflips on enough different stupid inanimate objects that they stopped caring. You can only skate so many weird things that someone who doesn't skateboard is going to be interested in. And so now you're making videos for an audience that isn't going to show any interest. I think that's why like YouTube views are down for like a lot of skateboarders. And I think that's why other channels have been like a little bit less affected. Also, I don't think skateboarding is dying. I'm just throwing that out there right now. I think skateboarding is becoming more true to size and it's just spread really thin, but that's a whole nother topic. But anyways, that's sort of the tradition that like Ricky is carrying on, right? Like he sees something go viral and he will recreate it, or he'll spend time thinking of like, what do I think will do really, really well? And then he'll make that. That's how he makes his living. Jenkum specifically makes something for skateboarders that they think skateboarders will be interested in. And I don't mean people who can like ride a skateboard. I mean people who have been doing it for a while. For example, when they do an interview with Todd Falcon, you kind of have to be around skateboarding long enough to not only know who Todd Falcon is, but to be interested in what that article is going to be. Or when they just do like a lot of like offbeat niche things that are sort of directed for the people who like hang out in skate shops and chit chat. RIP skate shops though. I guess now they hang out in forums or at the skate park. Skate parks kind of replace the skate shop in a lot of ways. People like go there and hang out, but regardless, they make stuff for skateboarders. And Ricky makes stuff about skateboarding for everybody. Not saying that he doesn't think about skateboarders too, but he tries to shoot bigger. So as you can imagine, Jenkum's fan base, the people who like what they do, probably dislike what Ricky does. Whether they think it's corny, whether they think he's lame or a sellout or whatever that is. My opinion on it is if you're doing something with skateboarding and I don't enjoy it, it's fine. It's just not for me. Get your bag, buddy. I don't care. What I imagine happened is they like got this DM for the not nose grind. They're like, oh, and then he was like, look, and then they were like, oh, like you kind of did it. Yeah, we'll post it. And then that person showed it to one of his buddies because I don't think there's really like I think it's just like friends that run Jenkum. I think it's like just that guy and his buddies that do it. So they're probably like, oh, look at this. And then they're like, we're not posting Ricky, dude. And then that guy was probably like, oh shit, I'm just gonna delete it. Or maybe there's other reasons. Like maybe they look at someone like Ricky and they're like, oh, this guy like worked with Braille, and then he went and did a video with like the Boonies, which is like Tim Pool's company, and we want to avoid like that side of politics or whatever it is. Like, and that's fair because it's, you know, it's their magazine. Now it'd be a different thing if Ricky did do the longest crooked grind. If Ricky did do the longest crooked grind, my argument, none of this argument would be happening. It would be like, give Ricky the money, like give him $1,000. You had a contest. You can't pick and choose. And I did see, I think Mowgli said something about someone 5-0'd it further than Kyle Walsh. Kyle Walsh is the guy who actually like built the spot and got it going with some of his friends. They spent like $500 in lac or something crazy. I do like the idea of Kyle getting the money because he put all the time and effort into fixing the spot. But I don't know if the other person actually did the 5-0 first or not. Whole other story. Okay, back to the main subject. But it is absolutely not because Ricky is a YouTuber. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jenkum has done interviews with skateboarding YouTubers. It's not about doing stuff on YouTube. It's about what you do. Like Brad Cromer has a YouTube channel. Frankie Villani has a YouTube channel. Joa gets boards from Sci-Fi. Dale ran Converse skate shoes TikTok. I've had an interview in Thrasher where like they literally just asked me a bunch of questions about YouTube when we went on that New York trip. Ben does a bunch of stuff with companies, with product development, with deluxe distribution and other companies. And I'm not saying that we're like the cool kids, but I'm saying because our style of content isn't the same as the stuff that has worked really, really well in the past, it's like a little bit less awkward for them to do stuff with us. Like I think the reason that my views on my channel has been so consistent for so long is literally because I just make videos for my audience. I'm like, okay, these people like this kind of skating. I like this kind of skating. This is what I do anyway. So I'm just going to film my days, film my friends, post it. And so the people who don't like my videos don't like it because they think I'm annoying or they don't care so much about the people that I skate with, the Pal Peralta guys or my particular group of friends, or they don't like my style of editing or how close I hold the camera to my face or my sense of humor. And the people who do watch my videos do like that stuff. Literally, they like my sense of humor. They like the people I skate with. But I'm not constantly changing it up and trying to get more views. I like what I do. I want to keep doing the kind of videos that I already do. And some of them are much better than others, depending on who I skate with and where I skate. And some of them aren't that great. Like this video. This video is stupid. Like I go on Instagram and I see so many people talking about this subject. And that Shredder Network has made like so many posts about it. Like they're just like, Jamie Thomas said this. And then it's, oh, well, like, he sides with the zero guy. Like they've used Jamie Thomas like twice now. And like I don't know how they're in on the algorithm the way they are, but I don't like they're just constantly everywhere. I'm always getting suggested these fucking shredder posts. And then people are making like skate memes about it and stuff like that. And Ricky's getting like a ton of hate, but he's also getting a ton of views, so I'm sure that's fine. And then Jenkum's not really saying anything about it. As far as like today, I didn't actually check today. So as far as like yesterday, they don't really seem to care. But it's like there's not this, I don't think that there is this big stigma with people skateboarding on YouTube. I think there's a stigma of what they do. Like, I don't think that anyone doesn't like my content because I'm a YouTuber. I think people don't like my content because they don't like me or the kind of stuff that I make. And I think the same thing is true for just about every creator. Now, I might get insults thrown at me like, oh, you're just like a shitty YouTuber or blah, 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 blah. But that's because they already don't like me and then they can fill that in. But that isn't the reason that they don't like me. And I've just seen so many posts from YouTubers who like have a, like, we make money off of just like skating and just goofing around with our friends. And I see them like complaining like, oh, like I'm getting all this like hate from the quote unquote fictional core skate industry, which doesn't, core skaters, which isn't even a real thing. It's like, there's not a real separation. Like it's not a certain type of skater that watches YouTube stuff. I think people will be very surprised with some of the people that I know out there who write for companies that like watch my videos or watch Dale's videos. It's just people don't like the style that you do it. They think, you know, sometimes it seems very disingenuous or, you know, clout chasey. Like it's sort of like when you see those people, I don't know if they're still doing it, but have you ever seen those videos where it's like someone's live streaming in a public place and they're just like doing like, they'll send them a cherry and they'll be like, oh, cherry. And then they just like keep doing the same thing. Like, I feel like the really over the top skateboard YouTube style of stuff is sort of looked at like that through people who have been skating for longer than, let's say, 2 or 3 years. And that's not to say that I won't embellish like the title of my video. Now, my thumbnails are always actual video grabs from the video, so I can be like, hey, that definitely happened in the video. But I'll throw some exclamation points in that video title. I'll call Matthew, quote unquote, an insane skater. But my numbers stay pretty much the same because the people who watch my videos know what they're going to get with each one. And I don't organize any of that either. I don't hit certain skaters up like, oh, my numbers are down. Like, whoever I skate with that day, whoever hits me, I don't hit anyone up. Whoever hits me up to skate, that's who I'm skating with that day. And although I do think that it's like comical, like it's mostly funny to me that whoever was running the Jenkum Instagram account deleted that comment. Like, I get why that's like, oh, that's kind of lame. It's kind of lame to be like, oh, I didn't know you had a Corrigan clip when they already said they were going to post it. You know, but all this to say that, like, I don't think Ricky's really a victim. Like, I think it's just people like what they like, and that company is going to represent what that company likes in the same way that whatever YouTuber you think of, that they're going to post people that they think their audience is going to enjoy. And I think it's that simple. I don't think it's that deep. I don't think it's that crazy. I think it's weird that it's like as big of a deal as it is. But then again, look at me ramble on and on about it for however many minutes this video is going to be. But yeah, all of that to say, like, dude, YouTubers need to just stop bitching, dude. Like, it just, I don't know. Like, skateboarding already is like not that deep. Like, it is just this really fun activity that we all enjoy, and people getting upset about the way other people enjoy that activity, like, oh, I don't like the way you play with that, is something that just about all skaters eventually grow out of. But then on top of that, to have like drama, like actual drama about it, like people with like real emotional opinions about it, it just gets, I don't know. I think I'm just old, dude. Back to actual skateboarding tomorrow. I got some. Yeah, I've been filming a bunch. I've been skating a bunch. Just the past 2 days just weren't so great. But yeah, new shirt. Shout out all the parties involved. All right, bye.